सच्चिदानंद रूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहे कवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा जीवे विभस्मं विनमस्तदेवं गोविन्द नामो परमानन्दीय गोविन्द नामो परमानन्दीय। वसुदेव सुतं देवं तं सचामूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। अनादिनो देवा शङ्खचक्रगदाधरा आश्रयकुण्डलीकाक्ष प्रेममोक्षमनोरभवा। अनादिनो देवा शङ्खचक्रगदाधरा आश्रयकुण्डलीकाक्ष यमाय धर्मराजाय मृत्यवे चान्तकाय च वैवस्वताय कालाय सर्वभूतक्षाय च औदुम्बराय धरणाय नीलाय परमेश्वरिणे मृगोदराय चित्राय चित्रगुप्तभरे नमः देहि धर्मवृतां श्रेष्ठ धर्म विचारका धर्मे धार्या लोकान् धर्मराज नमस्तुते दण्डहस्तधरो देवा धर्मराज महाबला महाकाल महादेवा धर्ममूर्ति नमस्तुते देवताभ्य पितृभ्यश्च महायोगिभ्य एव च नमः स्वाहाय स्वधाय नित्यमेव नमो नमः देवताभ्य पितृभ्यश्च महायोगिभ्य एव च नमः स्वाहाय स्वधाय नित्यमेव नमो नमः देवताभ्य पितृभ्यश्च महायोगिभ्य एव च नमः स्वाहाय स्वधाय नित्यमेव नमो नमः हरि ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम Devotees, I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you once again to come out this evening so that we can listen to the glories of the Sri Garud Puran. And I would like to thank each and every one of you who have taken the initiative to sponsor one night each until tonight. So we start reading on the 3rd and we'll continue until tonight. And this is a very rare opportunity that we are given to listen to Garud Puran. More so to listen to Garud Puran on a clear mind. You are not listening to it under the circumstances when you have someone who passes. When someone passes in our family and we are all sitting there sunken in that moment of loss, in that moment of grief, there are so many things that will be said to us. But how much can we comprehend at that time when our mind is all bent in sorrow of a loss of a loved one? It is not much that we can comprehend at that time. That's why it is important for us to sit when our minds are clear and we can sit down and listen to the text of the Garud Puran. Here our minds are clear and we can be able to assimilate and understand easily what is transpired. Then will come. That we cannot avoid. Shrimad Bhagavatam Puraan says, if it does not come now, and it does not come this year, 100 years from now, it will come. So we must be prepared. During the course of this discourse, personally, I don't like to waste people's time too much with lots of singing and fun, especially this time. We can be more focused and understand our scriptures easier if you want to hear good singing and fun. Everybody here can sing. Nice. Everybody can sing. it is nice to sit down and to just, saturate, take your time, let us enjoy the glories of Bhagwan. And it is for that reason that you will not find me, trying to sing too much. I like to, for us, we're missing out a lot, not listening to scriptures. We can sing every day. Singing Bhagwan name is also wonderful, but I enjoy philosophy more, and I do enjoy music as well, only when good people sing. Not when we sing. So, that's a whole different story. During the course of this Katha, we learned a few things. And one we have learned is who is our Pitri. And we will never go thinking that our Pitras are dead people. Now we understand that our Pitras are Devatas. And there are 3 Devatas. So this would be the question and answering time. So, Devata number 1 is Vasu. Second, Rudra. And third, Aditya. You guys are genius. You just pass the class with flying colors. So our Pitras can be Vasu, Rudra, or Aditya. As long as the Varshik Shraddha is not done from the time of death until the Varshik Shraddha is done, that soul is called a Pret. After the Varshik Shraddha is done, that soul becomes transformed into a special Devata. And that Devata is Vasu. As long as that person remains father, mother, father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother, sister, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, wife, husband, children, immediate families, distant family, animals, birds, rakshas, all of them become Vasu when we perform Shraddha for them. When we make our offerings, we make some offerings to the Devatas. Brahma Trityam Tam, Vishnu Trityam Tam, Rudra Trityam Tam, Prajapati Trityam Tam, Chandasi Trityam Tam, Veda Trityam Tam, Rishi Trityam Tam, Puraan Acharya Trityam Tam, Gandharva Trityam Tam, Mitrashara Trityam Tam, Sanvatsara Trityam Tam, Evangra Trityam Tam. Now listen to them. Nagas Trityam Tam, the serpents. Sagaras Trityam Tam, those that live in the streams and the oceans. Saritas Trityam Tam, Manushya, human being. Trityam Tam, Pichasha, those Pichasha that, die and they too, have lost their physical being. Them too, we pray. Pichasha Sripyam Tam, Suparana Sripyam Tam, Bhutani Sripyam Tam, Pashua. Pashua means animal. Pashua Sripyam Tam. So we can go on and on and on. And we can realize that we will cover everything. We'll cover trees, we'll cover animals, we'll cover birds, we'll cover fishes, we'll cover the reptiles, we'll cover everything that dwells in the air, that dwells on the land, and that dwells in water. Those that dwell on flatlands, forests, mountains, all of them we have covered. because all of them are related to us one way or another. All of them are contributing to our daily living. So we realize that we have a duty and a responsibility not only to our immediate ancestors, but we have a duty and responsibility to the world at large. So after our sponsoring judgment today, they performed their tarpan. I came down and I went there and I did tarpan on behalf of everybody who did not sponsor, who are members of the Mandir, who has come, who has not come here, New York, everywhere, and I offered for all living things on behalf of every one of you. So I do have that duty and responsibility. My very personal friend, Pandit Yoganand from New York also, he asked me to make some offering on his family's behalf, and yes, we did make offerings on his behalf also. So, devotees, once again, we are blessed to be able to perform this karma. Number one. Number two, if you throw a ball on the wall, what will happen? It will have a rebounding effect, and it is going to come back to you. Okay? So whatever you do in this activity of performing Pitri Puja, Shraddha Karma, or any form of Pitri Puja, devotees, it is reciprocal. It will come back to you in your time. You do not have to worry, because whatever you do will come back to you in some form or another. Do not wait until you die before it comes to you. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to you that it will come to you now while you are alive. It is going to come to you in the form of a peace of mind. It is going to come to you in the form of happiness. Your home will have a new light. Your life will have a new light. Your life is going to be more productive, and the direction is going to be positive. In this life, you will enjoy tremendous joy and happiness. Pitri Puja is Devta Puja, and it will bring you that great degree of joy and happiness. So, whenever we perform this puja, you must know that it is going to bring you prosperity and happiness. And I warned and mentioned during our reading here for these past nights that too, if you neglect doing it, there's consequences for it. And know that you are going to see it reflected in your life. Especially when your own children become your own enemy. These things do happen. So, it is called Pitri Dosh. You know, Pitri Dosh. It is easy to take care of your graha and all of these, but to take care of your Pitri Dosh is very difficult. So you should do it when the time is good and right. During this time, also, we spoke about not only what goes out, but what takes place inside. We spoke about the individual being, the individual personality, how we ourselves are an embodiment of a divine state of being. And that is, whatever we do in this life, let us do not wait until we die before we enjoy it. There are many who have to wait until they die before they enjoy it. I'll tell you one thing. I'm not sure what I will enjoy when I die. My philosophy is I should enjoy it now, and when that time comes, Bhagwan will decide. So, the first thing I must enjoy now in this lifetime is I should enjoy a state of mind that is always positive, that is always blissful, that is always calm, that is always collective, and that mind of mine should always reflect and radiate Bhagwan's kripa, His mercy. In this life of ours, this is our goal and our objective. If you can keep your being under control, where you will enjoy that state of bliss while you're alive, why do you worry about what happens when you're dead? It is going to be so. So that is my first object. That is my first goal in life. It is for me to have a balanced being. Obviously, everybody wants to have some kind of material comfort. I don't care about the hundreds of millions. If you can have enough to live, if you can have enough to eat, you can have enough to take care of your daily needs and responsibilities. Beautiful indeed. That I don't have to worry about tomorrow. That is the stage of life that I would like to be comfortable with. How much extra, you choose to have in the bank, I don't really need it. I just need so much so that I can be comfortable today and I don't have to worry about tomorrow. That's Sabti Kocha. I will be happy. That state of mind you want. You want that state of mind where you don't have to lie down in the middle of the night and toss and turn and wonder for one thing or another. You just lie down peacefully and you just go into a blissful state. This is the experience that we require to have during this lifetime. And Bhagwan bless me so that I don't have to waste this life. It is given to me as a treasure. And if I drop pieces of my gold on my way, then I will wind up at the end of my journey as a pauper. Isn't that so? And most of us, we just sit around doing nothing, and the time is wasted. Sometimes we spend hours and hours and hours doing things that are not productive for our daily gain. Devotees, do not waste this life. It is short. So that state of mind we always want to be. And always find yourself in company that will help to bring that state of mind to your conscious state. You should not live in guilt. Last night I mentioned that God was talking about the Das Lakshan, and I thought of once again pointing out some of those beautiful thoughts that are written. And the Das Lakshan says, Dhriti Chama Dhamostyam Sauchamindir Nigraha Dhiravidyam Vidya Dira Vidyam. I don't remember it again. You know, I learned it since I was a little boy. So, Satyam Akrodo Dashankam Dharma Lakshanam. So it tells us forgiveness. We must learn to forgive. Rule number 1. We must learn to forgive. Rule number 1. Humility. It does not cost anything to be humble. Don't show nobody your ego. There is one thing about egoistic people. When you meet somebody who got bigger ego, then you are going to smile. And there's always somebody with bigger ego. For one reason or another. So you, no matter how egoistic you are, there's somebody who is better than you. So it's better for you to be humble. Simple lesson for foolish people. That's what it is. You know? Straightforward. Don't tell half a lie here and half a lie here. Somebody is going to finally catch you with the whole lie. You know, one time we used to go to elementary school, and this teacher was telling, he gave us a passage to read, and this boy, he went to the Gurukul, and the Guru says, look, I spent so much time in my life with you boys. I did so much for you, and I never asked for anything. But, you know, I have my marriageable age daughter, and she's ready to get married. And I would like to get her married, but no, I don't have any wealth. I don't have money. So if you all can go home and bring something, and I will be able to get some wealth, and so I can marry my daughter. But please do this. Don't let your parents know. Because if your parents know, they will think that I'm a Lachi Guru. So what is he telling the boys to do? He's telling them to steal. Okay? So all the boys went home without even thinking. And when the parents are now watching, they took something. Lots of them were rich kids. They came back with lots of valuables. And they put it in the middle of the ashram, a whole clump in the middle of the ashram. Money, jewels, everything. So the Guru looked at all of them. And he turned to one boy who did not bring anything. And he said, what happened to you? I haven't seen you bring anything. He said, well, I had a little problem. And he said, well, what is your problem? He says, every time I try to take something, somebody's watching. And I try to take off the light, and I did the same thing, but somebody's watching. Who do you think is watching? Who is watching? Nah, we fooled him many times. We fooled her one many times. The little boy says, I see that I am watching. I am seeing that I am stealing. The best person to call you a thief in a situation like that is you yourself, devotees. Only you know how much good you do in this world, and only you know how much bad you do. So you don't have to go to nobody to tell you what you're qualified for. You know. So this is our life. Everything that we do will have an effect on us. So let us live this life nice and clear. Dhirti chama tamostyam shaucham indri nigraha dhir vidya satyam akrodha. You know, we should be straightforward. We should be contented. Contentment, santosham param sukham. You're contented, you will always be happy. Truthful. Don't live on lies. Sensual restraint. We need to restrain ourselves from many things that we would do that is inappropriate. If you do something wrong to somebody, you might be hurting the other person. But at the same time, you have just planted a bad seed. You planted a seed, a habit of doing something bad. And the more you plant bad seeds, they're going to grow fruits that you don't want. Eventually, you're going to have a whole garden full of thorns you don't want. What are you going to do then? So every seed that you plant, be aware that it is going to grow, it is going to germinate, and it is going to bear, and you will have to reap that fruit. So do not do what you do not want to come back to you negative. Austerities. Do not take life for granted. Do something. Go to some extent to do something for somebody else. No matter how little, no matter how large. But do something for somebody else. You must do so. Do not only live for yourself. Charity. Non-possessiveness. Do not try to grab from everybody. Celibacy. Have control over your organs. So these are some of the rules of Sanatan Dharma. So we must be able to follow them practically. Now that we have done and we've discussed so much, we discussed about what happened in this life, and we discussed what happened in the afterlife, what happens beyond this life. We talked extensively about the soul. And we reference the soul with science, and we reference the soul with other beliefs, so as for us to understand that Sanatan Dharma did not look at your soul, did not look at the soul on a very on the surface. Our saints and sages went very deep to look at what the soul is, what the substance is, and to realize that the soul is eternal, it will never die, and we need to know what we need to do with ours. And so we've talked extensively about the Atma, about the soul. And we also spoke about our saints and sages' ability to understand the soul in such a way that they can manipulate it. And we talked about how we can move the soul from the dungeons of births and rebirths and the sufferings and lift that Atma into a state of bliss. And we also talked scientifically how a person who was literally dead, Raja Vina, and these great saints and sages went to the dead body and brought a living person out. And also, they decide what kind of qualities the individual should have. Think about that science. You know, Einstein Anybody know what he did with his brain? Or what they did with his brain? Or what he requested to do with his brain? Yes, they kept it. They still have his brain. Because they feel that sometime in the future, they may be able to generate out of his brain some kind of mannerism in which they can regenerate somebody like him. Think about that. So even science is waiting for that day to come, and our saints and sages talked about it over 5,000 years ago. So our saints and sages knew this science that Einstein is still dreaming of. God bless his soul. So today I would like to move all those souls who were going, who'd gone, who were in some yoni, some form or another. Today we would like in our Katha to lift their souls to the realm in which we want them to be. Being the last of this Katha for this period, we're going to lift the Atma to that divine realm. That is called moksha. We spoke of that when we talked about Jatayu giving up the vulture body and taking on that body of Bhagavan Vishnu himself. So I'm just going to take you through a few verses of Shrimad Bhagavatam Puraan before we conclude. Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Kunjali. Puraan, Raja Parikshit was asking Bhagwan, asking Sukdev Bhagwan, he was asking, oh, Sud Maharaj, please explain to me Mahabhagat, अब मैं वह उपाय जानना चाहता हूँ. I need some kind of remedy, जिसके अनुष्ठान से मनुष्यों को अनेक अनेक भयंकर यातनाओं से पूर्ण नरकों में न जाने पड़ा. आप कृपा करके उसका उपदेश कीजिए. So he is asking, he says, Bhagwan, please explain to me that you know something, we are human beings. We are not perfect. We might strive for so many perfections, but we have tendencies that we do something today and we are so happy about we have lifted ourselves to such a pedestal and we are happy about our upliftment. But whenever we are not very conscious of our actions, we come back to our old habit. And I start doing the nonsense I used to do the day before. So constantly we're trying to elevate ourselves. I go to Mandir, I did the good things, I did charity, I did this, I did that, and then all of a sudden I go back, and I forget all about the things I should have done constantly. And then when I go back into that stage, and then I realize that now I'm experiencing depression, my life is not happy, then I'm saying, what's wrong? Then I need to go to Mandir, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I need to lift myself back up. And so I go back again. And I did that for a day or two, and then 1 month I go back doing the nonsense I used to do all the time before. So what's really gonna happen? How can these people get moksha? This begs a question. What question does it beg? What percentage of your life you think you're qualified for moksha? And now, like I say, don't tell me, because we may fool each other in this situation. Be honest with yourself. The amount of good that you have done in your life, not about 1 or 2, or by accident you have done something good. I'm talking about constantly, from day 1 to now, how much you think you have done that qualifies you, that Bhagwan Sri Krishna would say that come and you will be with me constantly. How much good do you think you have done that you are qualified for that? That's the question. So now let's say, for argument's sake, 50%. I'm giving you high school. You know, let's say that 50%. So which means 50% good you have done, and the other 50% you're not qualified. If God throw you in hell forever because you have not met 100%, and that God is unjust. So what will God do? He gonna take half of you and throw them in heaven and half and throw in hell? Are you going to go for permanent damnation, or are you going to go for 50-50? And if you're going to take half of you and put them in hell and half of you and put them in heaven, which half you want to go to hell? This is whenever our saints and sages, whenever these who wrote these scriptures, if they have not thought of these things completely, then you and I will be hanging somewhere where we don't belong. That is why in this Dharma, in Sanatan Dharma, you're not going to go to hell forever. In Sanatan Dharma, you're not even going to go to heaven forever. Because hell is not permanent. Heaven too is not permanent. Jai Shri Krishna. Only one thing is permanent. What is permanent? It's called moksha. Say it out loud. Moksha. This business of going to heaven is not taken into concept. Do not pack up no bag to go to moksha, to go to heaven. Heaven is short-lived in moksha. Moksha means to enjoy eternal bliss. And enjoying eternal bliss, devotees, you do not have to be a good person from day one to the end of life. You are allowed to have mistakes in life because we're human. You're allowed to have mistakes in life. So, none of us are perfect. We should not claim to be perfect. And if you ever claim to be perfect, you should beg for some forgiveness because you can't be. Okay? Even the greatest saint probably walked on an ant unknowingly and killed that ant. Even the greatest saint, by mistake, even probably committed some act that is beyond him. Beautiful verses indeed. Ayam hi srutamapyanam shila vritta gunalaya dritava vrato mridur dantaha Satyavana mantra vimuchitaha. देवताओं अपने जानते ही कि यह अजामिल बड़ा शास्त्रीय था. That there was once one Brahman by the name of Ajamil. He studied the scriptures very well. And he was very learned of the scriptures. He followed the right path. And he did tremendous good in his life. He was very comely, very simple. Sadachar. He is always very considerate. He thinks well. Aur sadgunon ka to yah khajana he tha, and he had a storehouse of good qualities. Brahmachari, Vinay, Jitendriya, Satyanishta, Mantraveta, or Pavitra he tha. He had so many good qualities, everything he did. Mantraveta, and he chanted beautiful mantra. इसके गुरु अग्नि अतिथि और वृद्ध पुरुषों सेवा की थी. He adored his guru. He worshipped the fire. He adored the guest. और वृद्ध पुरुषों की सेवा, and he worshipped the old people. अंधकार तो इसमें था ही नहीं. He never lived a dark day in his life. Constantly, he was very conscious of what he does. यह समस्त प्राणियों के हित चाहता, उपकार करता, आवश्यकता के अनुसार ही बोलता और किसी के गुणों के दोष नहीं दृढ़ता था. So, in his entire life, he always walked this path और सर्व प्राणियों के रक्षा, and he protects every living thing that he can protect. एक दिन यह ब्राह्मण अपने पिता के आदेश अनुसार वन में गया और वहीं फल फूल समिधा तथा कुश लेकर घर लिए लौटा. So one day his father told him to go into the woods and bring nice fresh fruits and flowers, samidha, and bring wood for the Agni Kund. Tata kush lekar, and go bring kush grass. The kush is very, very, very sacred, devotees. Not only for Shraddha, that's a misconception. And I don't know why, but I can only imagine that sometimes kush was not ready to be available back in Guyana. And since I was a young Pandit, I watched the older Pandits. They do the same thing, so I did the same thing, only to realize I'm reciting one mantra and doing something else. We say, Kushmole stito brahma, kushmadhe janadana, kushakre shankarne, kusharaja namaskute, kushpavarita bandhidharana kalpudeka. And we give them a kush pointy, we give them a finger into ear, and then a finger in a good. And then I read the whole mantra says I give him a push grass, pointy. So how come you get a push pointy and we make it a mango leaf? You know? So, you know, him, Pandit Rishiram, we have so many old, fun together. Well, both of us were young Pandits. So, Pandit Rishiram, he decided that he is going to make his pointy a different way. I'm making my pointy a different way. So, let me show you. So, I did this, and I make my pointy like this, and I just fold it around, and I make my pointy. So he said, he not like making pointy like down. So he wanted to make he one. So he make like this, and then he makes like that, and then he start folding it that way, and he makes his pointy. So I still can make it like this. So he likes to make his pointy that way, I like to make. So I asked him, why you like to make your pointy that way? He says, because he adjusted. So I said, well, why do you just adjust? You know? So we have so much fun with these things. So as Pandit we have, like I said the other night, when Pandit meet together, we get their own Katha. You know? So, yeah, so he went to get kush grass and all of this. और लौटते समय इस देखा कि एक भ्रष्ट शूद्र का बहुत खामी और निर्लजा शराब पीकर फिर वेश्या के साथ विहार कर रहा था. So while he was coming back, he saw this extraordinarily beautiful girl, and his heart went for her immediately. Mind you, he get his wife already, but all of a sudden he saw this girl and his heart fell for her. Love for something out. Young people, to the young people today. They're different. They decide and 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 they decide until they can't decide no more. So I always ask my wife, you know, at 26, I was already married and, you know, having my kids. You guys are 30 and 33, what you guys are doing? So that, it's not as easy as your time. Don't tell me. I've been there, done that. What are you talking about? So today, sometimes we see a person, we fall in love with them, that moment, that instant, and it becomes such a relationship that I can't get out of my mind. All of a sudden, I did not realize who I fell for. Back in the times, we had a class in summer in Trinidad back in 1986, and we were talking about how people fall in love, you know. So this boy, he is going to go, you know, Black Bush boy come out and he go Georgetown. He not go with the deer bands. He come well dressed, right? He come Georgetown. He come all decked, high heel shoes and, you know, everything all well decked. As soon as the girl saw him, he fell in love with him. And all of a sudden, you know, at that time too, he's at his best behavior. He not behave like how them guys are behave down there, you know. Them guys from the country behave differently, you know. So, he broke English, you know, he do all these nice things. The girl fall in love with him. All of a sudden, when he see the guy at home or in his environment, in his domain, and he saw all these qualities that came out, all of a sudden he said, this is the same guy we told them. You know, now I can see that upstairs he not too good. He not really afford all his clothes. The only one that he afford that was really nice is the one he came to Georgetown with. That was the best one. All the best one, you know. And then he put on his best behavior when he come here. When he come home, when I see him at home, then I realize who this idiot is all the time. I did not realize this. So many times when we see people in the best environment, in their best behavior, we fall in love with the environment and the behavior, not the individual. Because you have not yet seen the individual. Isn't that so? When you really see the individual, you know, I was doing a wedding once, and this very old Italian lady came to the wedding. She enjoyed the wedding so much. And then she came to me, and she said to me, you know, you never know. Listen, you never know the person you're getting married to until the two brushes are side by side. Think about it. I think I knew my wife. We were next door neighbors. When he come over our fence, then he realized who the big That's when I brought home my boss. You know, so we never understand who we fall in love with. Here we have seen that he had his wife. His wife was a chaste very good person, hermit, following all religious principles like him. But here he went out and all of a sudden he saw someone. I don't want to give you the description that Bhagavad Puran gives. And you guys should learn to read a little bit of Hindi and read, and understand or read the Bhagavad and really understand. When Bhagavad describes a person like this, you really want to see the person. It is literal. You will see that person standing in front of you. Vyasji and Tulsidasji and Valmiki-ji, when they wrote, I mean, it is amazing to read the way they write. In this Bhagavad, there is a description. I am not going to go through all the descriptions, but it tells you how she dressed, the girl. And what she did was tie her clothes in such a way and put a knot around her waist, and certain part of her body was exposed, and the thing you will have in the fashion magazine these days, And when you look at the manner in which Vyasji described the way she looked, you too will fall in love with her, even without seeing her. That's the manner. And so Ajamil fell in love with her. He deserted his wife. He forsake his parents. He stopped chanting mantras. He stopped following all the good principles he was brought up to follow. All the good things he was doing, he just left them aside. He was such a good Pandit, he was such a good religious person, all is thrown away. All because of his lust. All of a sudden, he's lost them all. This is not an unusual event. It happens. It happens. When you're at that point, you have to stop and decide. What am I doing? Is this right? Is this wrong? And what is going to be the next step? What is going to happen next? This is not unusual for religious people who holds high status. Religious status where hundreds of people are looking up to them. And they fall just because of, this spark, this moment of loss that befalls them. And after that happens, what happens? Everything that they stood for just fell in the gutters. Do not think for 1 minute that you're going to go in a foreign country and do something. That's a bush babies. May not talk about them. They're done. I'm talking about, they say a wall has eyes. Devotees, what you do in the darkest night, in the most remote corner of the world, is going to follow you like your own shadow, and it is going to come to light one day. You know what happened to our people? You know what happened to our people? Our people are very forgiving. When leaders fall, our people still forgive them. So these things happen. And here we have seen a typical example. And so he was not able to balance himself. He squandered all the wealth of his parents. He neglected his wife. He brought sorrows upon his entire family. He brought sorrows to everybody that looked up to him. He brought shame to himself, but he could not see it. And this went on and on and on. Now he thinks he's happy. With her, they fostered 10 sons. But there was some degree of inspiration from God that was still left with him. You know, God is merciful. God is very merciful. Even though we may fall down so many times, He'll stretch His hand and He'll pick us up. You know, and He'll give you another chance. This is what God is merciful. Driti, Chama, second one of our commandments means forgiveness. We can forgive each other, but we expect Him to forgive us. We do wrong things, and we go in front of Bhagwan and ask for forgiveness, and we expect Him to forgive us, but we would not forgive other people. Where is your God? We have to learn to be like Him. Chama, forgiveness. If you're wrong to somebody, you pick up the phone and call. You don't have to say, look, forgive me for all the mistakes. Turn a new page. Start. Say, how are you? How are you doing? You know, it's nice if I've seen you over there yesterday, and you know, have a phone. Break that barrier that pains you, not the other person, or maybe the other person too. If you're wrong to the person, call him. And if the person wrong to you, still call him. If you and your wife fight in the house, we all do. We have some kind of difference sometime or the other. If you two are enemies forever, then what do you think is going to happen in the house? Somebody will eat. Devotees, you will find a way to mend. Because you know why? You can't exist without each other. So, you know, and the earlier you solve a problem, the earlier you get food. Isn't that so? So, it's better for you to say, look, man, forgive me right away, unless, you know, that get the thing over with. Half down the rice. Devotees, the same thing you must do with your brother. The same thing you must do with your sister who you're not talking to. Your friend who you broke up with. Your relative who, you know, you didn't like. You know, oh, just forget it. Devotee's life is short. It's beautiful. Do not waste it. So, he did all of this, devotees. But one thing he did that was good. Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Sri Krishna Govinda Hare Tasya pravasya putra dashadesham suyovanam Bahu narayano nama vikrosya daito vidrum. And the last of his sons, he called him Narayan. Narayan, Narayan. Every time he calls his son, he says Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Bhajamana Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. What are we doing? We're chanting Bhagwan's name. Who is listening to it? Bhagwan is listening to it. Narayan. And when you call your son by the name Narayan, devotees, you're calling him with so much love. You're calling him with so much devotion in your heart. That love and that devotion goes to Narayan. It goes to Bhagwan. Today people have a tendency, and I get so angry sometimes. But what can I do? One of our Dasalakshans said, Garuda, you should not be angry people. You give them beautiful Hindu names for their children. Antakale chamame vasmaran muktakalevaram. If you are going to die and you call his son name before you die, what is going to happen? Narayan, Narayan. And this is what he was doing. And as he was going to die, he called out to his son, Narayan, Narayan. And as if he was not close by, and he was a little child at that time, he was an older man. And at that time, he's calling to his son, who was not close by. And he said, Narayan, Narayan, and he's calling out hard. Devotees, Bhagwan Narayan, here is the chanting. Narayan, Narayan. And he's calling out Narayan. But he's thinking about his son. But devotees, he's chanting Bhagwan's name. Bhagwan is so merciful. That Bhagwan overlooked all his mistakes. All his mistakes he overlooked. We're calling our son. Jedan? Jedan? Jedan what? You know what Jedan means? My money! My money! Before you die, you're calling for your money. I went to inspect one Indian lady's house one day in Queens. And when I came to the lady's house, she called out, you know, you have murtis and everything in your house. And I'm just standing there, total stranger standing in her house. And she's calling to her daughter, Stephanie, Stephanie. And I looked at her. What happened to her knee? And she said, no, nothing is wrong with her knee. Her name is Stephanie. I thought you said she had a stiff knee. And she looked at me and she was puzzled for a moment. And I said, you're Hindu. You have all these religious murtis. Why is your daughter's name Stephanie? People tell me all the time. People said, you know, people would not know what to call my child when they go to school. This is an English country. said, my son name is Rudrash. He only has one. He can be good. My daughter's name is Hema. You know, her name is also Rukmini. Everybody knows her. Nobody ever had a problem. You once saw Tom that they can't call him. I said, this whole world knows Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. And everybody know how to pronounce his name. If your child is a fool, nobody will know his name. If he stands out, the world will know his name, no matter what name he has. Devotees, take pride in your name. We have Narayan sitting right here. Narayan! Narayan! You know, the name Narayan is such a beautiful thing. My name is Yoganand Ramnarain. My supervisor is called Mr. Ramnarain. That's how my name is spelled. R-A-M-N-A-R-A-I-N. You don't have a problem with me. How are you going to have a problem with my kids? All of us came into these countries with Hindu names. Everybody know them. You know, and if they call, if you go to HPD today and you ask anybody from commissioner all the way down, for yogi, everybody knows. They know what you're talking about. Even though I've left 2 years ago. Your name will tell everybody who you are. They'll tell your personality, they'll tell your characteristics, they'll tell your nature, they'll tell everything about you. Your name stands foremost. Do not be ashamed of it. Tell people. Now the world is becoming wise, they become conscious, and now they realize people's name have an origin and they have a meaning. Today people are looking at people's origin and their meaning. What is that? What are they going to look at your children? You ever hear Spanish people give a picnic in? Anybody? Why you give people Spanish name first? You know, Spanish people talk Spanish. How come you're not like English? Somebody not need to pay attention to where we're losing. I'm not going to take much more of your time. I'll wrap up in 2 minutes. And here, he called out the name, Narayan, 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 as he was going to die, devotees, and instantly his soul left his body. 3 men appeared in the room. And this happens. 3 men appeared in the room. They were very dark in complexion. They were holding whips and ropes in their hand. And they came and they start binding the soul and start tying him up for his journey. And as they start tying him up, a group of other individuals came. And when this group of other individuals came, they stopped these 3 men and says, no, you cannot take this soul. We will have to take him. They unleashed all the ropes that were tying him. And these 3 men are saying, no, 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 He was a sinner. He did so many wrong things. How come you want to come and take him? We have to take him. And the two of them had this conversation. Finally, these three men went back to Yamraj and asked, what are you doing? How come you sent us to get this Atma? And these other individuals came to get him. Why is that so? And then the conversation ensued. And Yamraj says, because he called the name of Narayan before his soul left his body, that you are not qualified to go there to take his soul. And they said, but he was not thinking about God. He was calling out to his son. Nevertheless, the name Narayan has the same meaning. Wherever you call it, it does not lessen or give any different devotees. And as we close, I want to give you a little description, because we might be fortunate enough to see these when our time comes. And these are the forms that are described. Kasyava kutta ayata kasmadasya nishedata kim deva upadeva yuyam kim siddha sattama sarve padma palaksha Pita koshashe yavasasam kiritiraha kundalino kasta pushka ramarinaha sarve charno navayasa sarve charu Chaturabhuja Dhanur Nishanga Sita Shankha Chakra Bhuja Sriyaha Disho Viti Viraloka Kurvantaha Swena Rochisha Irmaka Dharma Palasya Inkarano Nishedataha. I just wish I can go on chanting all the slokas of Shrimad Bhagavatam Puraan. And here Vyasdev describes very beautifully who are standing in the room. Kasyava Kuta Ayata. Those that came and they stood up. Kasmadasya nishedata kim deva upadeva va yuyam kim siddha sattama. Somebody was describing them. Who do you think was describing them? The three young dudes that came to take the soul. They turned and they looked at them and they said, I have never seen somebody so handsome, so beautiful looking, so comely. You all can't be yogas. You all are above the yogas. You are so amazing to look at. Who are you? Sarve Padma Palaksha Oh, your eyes are those like the lotus petals. Pita koshe yavasasaha. And they were decorated with yellow dhotis. Beautiful looking. Kiritinam kundilam kasta pushta kamalinama. They were wearing beautiful ornaments, bangles and beautiful earrings, and they were decorated very beautiful. Sarve channo navasta, sarve charu chaturbhuja, and they all have 4 hands. Dhanur nishangasi gada shanka chakra bhujasraya, and they were all holding shank, chakra, gada, and padma. Disho viti viralokaha kurvanta svena rochishaha kimartam dharma palasya kinkarano nishedhataha. And around them it seems like sun is rising behind them, that they are so resplendent and they look so attractive and so handsome that they have come to take the Atma of this devotee. This beautiful description that is painted in Shrimad Bhagavatam Puraan tells us, devotee, that when we are devotees of Bhagwan, when that moment comes, devotees, that our soul is going to leave this body, devotees at that time thinking about your wife and your picnic and your money and your house, all does not mean anything to you. Because you know why? My wife will have to seek her own salvation. And my children will have to seek their own salvation. And just like I own somebody else's money, somebody else will own me. Life is going to continue. But your chance will not come twice. Antakale chamame vasnarati. Chant Bhagwan's name. Think of him when the soul is going to leave the body. And those divine beings will come. Bhagwan Vishnu, he came in numerous forms, not just one form, he came in numerous forms. And stood up there and he came for the Atma himself. Bhajamana Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. We pray and we ask that may all your ancestors, through the listening of this Bhagavad Katha, may all of them have the darshan of Bhagwan Narayan in that beautiful form. Let them do not go around the cycles of birth and death again, but let them find emancipation. I turn the Garud Puran and I look at the very last concluding line of Garud Puran. Back page, all the way to the bottom, and it has a beautiful verse. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kachchit dukha bhave. I don't want happiness for myself alone. I do not want happiness for only human beings. I do not only want happiness for my ancestors, but my Lord, let this entire universe, everywhere that the mind can penetrate and think of, and beyond that, let this happiness that is in you prevail there. Then I am living permanently in that state of eternal bliss. Once again, thank all of you, and we pray and ask that may all your ancestors find liberation, bliss, peace. Hari Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I was visiting Mandir the other day, and the president of the Mandir, very wonderful lady. She's been a doctor, and she's been the president for the Mandir for quite a number of years. And she said something really beautiful. And the Mandir was so jam-packed during Ganesh Chaturthi, and myself and my family was there, and everybody started clapping. And he says, please stop. And everybody stopped. And he says, in Mandir, we only clap for one person. We only clap for one. Whenever we clap for each other, that's only an egoistic sentiment, but generally, when we are excited or happy, we do clap. But just to, give you another thought, and sometimes, like I was at India the other day, and after the Katha, everybody started clapping, and I said, I just can't put that much in case, So sometimes, we have a tendency to do that. But here, we thank Bhagwan for giving all of us this opportunity, me this opportunity to speak to you and narrate Katha to you, and you the opportunity to control that to listen. So very quickly we'll ask God to say a few things, and we have my brother George here who is going to do the concluding remarks.
Time is so short.
One is not too long.
You wanted to say a few words. Devotees, firstly, we will start Vyasji as what he's been telling us night after night. If we really observe, it really means that if we get able to be very close to Bhagwan, then Bhagwan will take care of us. And so it is very important to listen to him. Let me do a little from the Ramayana here. Jayoliya mati taila hai, Jayo chamakami aar, Tera sai tujhe mein jai sakega. You have turned the mala around and around and counted beads for ages. But have you turned and looked at your mind? Turn your mind around and look how many dirt it has accumulated and purged of all vices, sins. Well, devotees, as what Ramayana is telling us here, that needless can be mala night and day, and you do not live up the life of Bhagwan want us to live. So this is what the Chaupai say. A person who is full of anger and greed cannot pursue the path of devotion. There are two enemies we have, anger and greed. If we do not try to avoid, it can be what happened in this world, but never develop anger. Walk away from this person. Do not be greedy. What belongs to us, it is us. What is not us, walk and leave it away. Just as a fish loves water, a miser loves his money. Ramayana tells us in devotees how fish love water, so a person who not like to spend our God, he like money the same way. And the last one say here, yeah. And the last one say here, the poet Kaviraj says that if you wish to come with him on the path of goodness, you must prepare and make a great sacrifice. He frustrated ways that one has to chop off his head and put it on the ground and trample on it. And if you can able to remember this powerful verse, what Ramayana is telling us, that you don't care to chop off your head and all, but once you become a devotee to Bhagwan, you will meet Bhagwan very fast. So devotees, these are the great teachings, and I like to tell you, these are some verses from the Ramayana, and it is very important for us to follow these teachings. Thank you.
The devotees, you have it right and nice and clear, and believe me, that is spend hours every day reading. And I wonder, as you read everything, these thoughts are on his mind. So he is bringing it to us. Really blessed to have him that shot. Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna, everybody. First of all, before I do my little speech, my right name is Farmanan, not George. I don't know who gave me that name. Eric Kanishi. So y'all can call me Farmanan. But I think, it's only fitting for us to say thank you to Pandit. So Panditji, my guru, respected Pandit Kanda, we are all immensely thankful to you for sharing these, for sharing the nectar of these pages of the holy Garud Puran and Bhagavad Puran, for demystifying and decoding the Garud Puran. I can tell you personally, it's all the books in my house. I try reading the Garud Puran, boy, I'm confused. It's very complex. I must say that you're not only well-versed and experienced, but your delivery these past 10 nights was impeccable and eloquent. Not to mention, very humorous. My buyer over there, Dan, was laughing one night, he nearly fell out of the chair. While these topics of the soul and life after death can be very controversial and have been debated for centuries, you made us all feel at peace, educated, and learned these last 10 nights. Jai Shri Krishna. I certainly got things cleared up. A lot of things got cleared up. And I don't want to mention them because I have a few minutes. Yes, you could have been in New York and in the storm, as Nana said, but you chose to be with us. And for that, we're very, very grateful, Pandit. Now that you'll be leaving, I feel like the gopis are being left behind. That's the feeling. And I hope you come back again and again and again and be our guru. I also want to thank my guru, Pandit Yoganand, and for being such an example to us, day after day, every Sunday morning. And you know, Guruji is a living example of what Sri Krishna was saying in the Bhagavad Gita. Sri Krishna said, if you come to me, you have to be firm, F-I-R-M, firm in your determination and your faith. And believe in me, have no fear, and I'll always be by your side. And look at our Guru, you know, he's not quite well, but every day he's there. And God knows how long he must have written those notes. And is very determined. So you're an inspiration to us, Guruji. Let's not forget the Kirtan group. And yes, and all the people that maintain this Mandir. And kudos to all the cooks. And very shortly you'll have buffet, right? Saradaji, I always say you're an all-rounder. But truly, thank you again, Panditji. It's been unbelievable, such an inspiration, and continue to teach us your honors. And Jai Shri Ram. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Garud, and It is such a blessing to have all of you present here. You know, one of my greatest joy is sitting down and read. You know, and I read sometimes for hours at a time. And when I read our scriptures and I see the dimensions that our scriptures has covered, I wish everybody would be able to have the same opportunity to read and enjoy and understand the same way I do. And our scriptures are so beautiful. And the joy of reading is immense. And you know, when we sit down here to talk to you, you are so elated, you're so happy. But you know something? What happens here and what happens here, is 10% only is what's happening up here. That's the other 90% is my own happiness. You only have 10%. So that is when we read scriptures. When we read scriptures, the enjoyment is so fulfilling that you can go on and on and on. My wife always have one complaint. every time when we go anywhere, I'm coming back home with books. And she always asks one question the same way, same amount of words. You gonna get down already? So the other day, all the shelves in my outer room is filled. So I came in with a whole set of wood, and I was going to make another set of shelves. Everyone said, no more shelf can be in the outer room. Because soon enough, we'll have to take Bhagwan outside. But this is a pleasure I have from reading, and whenever I have this opportunity to read to others, it is always such a pleasure. And I know many other Pandits will have the same sentiments I do. And scriptures are indeed beautiful, and I'm happy you all enjoyed it. This is the first time I've read Garud Puran this extensive, because we never have the opportunity to read it. Also, the minute you talk about Garud Puran, I'll have everybody gone. I said, oh, I hear about that, you know. But I'm happy that you keep on coming night after night. You give me more inspiration to tell what is definitely in the books. And you realize that Garud Puran is indeed beautiful, and it's worth knowing. Thank you very much. Bhagwan's blessings to all of you. And I hope that, you know, something like this might happen next year. That, you know, by chance, I hear, because the construction is going on, and all of a sudden I said, why don't I just read Garud Puran? And you were so eager and willing to listen. So, Bhagwan blessings. So I have to tell my wife that, you know, I need more vacation like this. Let us have our tea once more, and we are going to conclude. भागवत भगवान की है आरती, पापियों Amaratan clasp our hands and we pray and we ask that, oh Bhagwan, when we call out to the name of our ancestors, we see their very face before us. We see their very person before us. We remember all their nature, as if that person has never died, but that person continued to live in that beautiful form that we had continued to know them. We pray, O Bhagwan, that may you transcend that form into your divine form. Shankha Chakra Gada Padma Vanamala Vibhushitam, and give that person, that beloved of ours, that divine form of yours, holding the Shankha Chakra Gada Padma in your hands, beautiful mala bedecking your neck, and your mind is always so blissful and soothing. O Lord, let our ancestors take on that divine form. Anadini Danu Deva Shankha Chakra Gadadhara Akshaya Pundarikaksha Pitri Moksha Prado Bhava. Anadini Danu Deva Shankha Chakra Gadadhara Akshaya Pundarikaksha Preta Moksha Prador Bhava. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Dhyau Shanti Rantaricharum Shanti Pretavi Shanti Rapana Shanti Oshadaya Shanti Panaspati Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarva Gun Shanti Shanti Deva Shanti Shama Shanti Redhi. O Lord, we pray and ask, in this course of delivering your divine glories, if we have made any mistake or offended you in any way, we beg your forgiveness. If we offended anybody, we beg their forgiveness. It is not our intention to condemn or to criticize others, but it is our true intention to tell of your divine glories. And so we do. We pray and we ask that may you shower blessings upon all. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhave. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Hari Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. भागवत भगवान की जय। प्रेम से बोलिए राधे वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। सारे दरबार की जय। बोलिए हर 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 महादेव, साचे चौथे वाली माता तेरी सदा की जय। बोलिए सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। गौ माता की जय। सब संतन की जय जय सीताराम, सब भक्तन की जय जय सीताराम। Thank you. And I've kept you a little late tonight. You please take your arti or your prasad, and we have some bhojan prepared for you.